This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNN.Live. We're at the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium 2019 in Vancouver, BC. With me right now is Christian Milau from Equinox Gold. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you, EQX on the TSX Venture and EQX.FF on the OTC. Christian, welcome back to SNN.Live.
Thanks for having me back. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you on, and thank you for joining us again. So for our audience, let's start off with an overview of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, Equinox is a company that was really formed about 18 months ago. We put together three companies, and now we have one producing asset, Mesquite, in Southern California. It produces about 40,000 ounces of gold a year. We've also just built a mine in Brazil, in northern Brazil. It produces about the same amount of gold, 40,000 ounces a year, and just came into production a few weeks ago, so it's pretty topical. And as well, we have a development project in California, just an hour from Las Vegas, that we plan to put in production in 2020. So three good assets. It's about 5.5 million ounces in reserve, and I think we're hitting the gold cycle just about right, I hope.
So let's get an update. We last had you on here at Sprott this time last year, so let's get that update. What's been going on? You mentioned it already a little bit, but let's get the full picture. What's been going on at Equinox Gold?
Yeah, I mean, there's been so much going on in the last year. I mean, I remember a year ago, gold was around $1,200. We'd started building a mine in Brazil. We had just about enough money to do it, and we just got that done in May. We poured gold May 14th, and it's been ramping up since then. And it's ramped up really nicely. We're doing above nameplate, and our throughput and production levels are as expected now. We're a couple of months late building it, or completing construction, but it's ramping up really well. And then we've been readying for construction in California, so we've done all our engineering studies. And basically with the gold price where it is, we think we're in a good position later this year to launch into construction in California for that mine as well. And as well, interestingly, we've been restructuring our balance sheet. We used to have project financing, thanks to Sprott and others that financed us in the construction phase of our projects. We've now got a global banking group that's taken out all the project financing at a much better rate, and we brought in the sovereign wealth fund of Abu Dhabi called Mubadala, and they put in $130 million to help us grow a gold company. And our ambition here is to grow to 1 million ounces of gold per year.
And what's the margin on some of these projects for ones that are already in development and then the ones that will come online later this year?
Yeah, the two core assets that we have, being Castle Mountain and Aurizona, are around $800 up to $900 an ounce, all in sustaining costs. So at $1,400 gold price, you've got a good $400 or $500 margin on those. Mesquite's an older in the life mine. Basically, it's closer to a sort of $1,000 all in sustaining costs, so a little bit less margin there.
And are there any elephants in the region? I mean, when you think Southern California, in the 2000, the end of the 2010s, you don't think gold so much anymore. But, how did you land on these projects? How did this opportunity present itself?
Yeah, I mean, we've looked for great geological deposits, ultimately, that we can grow and we create something big out of them. We don't want to just have small operating mines. So just happens to be, Castle Mountain was a past-producing mine there near Las Vegas, produced for about 10, 11 years in the 90s, and they left behind a lot of low-grade gold, which is heap leachable in the western U.S. It feels like you're in Nevada, even though you're just on the border there, and they're looking for jobs and growth opportunities, and we hope that we can reinvest in the community there and rebuild that mine. And then it's basically the same with Mesquite. It's been producing for about 30 years. It was in production when we acquired it about a year ago, and we'll just continue on with that.
And what's your background? I mean, how'd you come into all this?
Boy, my background personally, I'm originally financially oriented. I was an investment banker, a chartered accountant here in Vancouver back in the day, but I got involved in mining and really it was the early days at New Gold where they were building a company, creating a growth vehicle, again, probably towards the bottom of the cycle. I got involved with that, helped create New Gold, then got involved with building Endeavour Mining in Africa, and we started again with no mines. We ended up with 4 or 5 mines, and then I got involved with True Gold, which we hoped to build a company around, but it got bought out. And so we're doing it again here with this company. We started out with 1 project, we now have 3, and we plan to have 4, 5, or 6 at the end of the day.
And you mentioned some of your value catalysts already in this interview, but let's take it all back to go full picture here. What are some, from what you can tell me, what are some of the company's value catalysts now for the rest of 2019?
Yeah, I mean, we're still trading more at levels of, I call them junior developers at times, 0.5, 0.6 times price to NAV multiples. We're just getting to that inflection point. We'll have 2 mines that'll be cash flowing here. and we'll have a quarter of production after quarter 3 is done of Aurizona producing. So I think people will be able to see this as an operating multi-mine producing company in the second half of this year, and that should help us move up that curve from that junior developer multiple up to multi-asset production multiple, which can move up towards 1 time. So maybe we get a nice increase, and that's without gold increasing. So hopefully we get both.
And where can our audience go and find more information about Equinox Gold?
Yeah, equinoxgold.com. We've got lots of information on the website. We keep it very up to date right now because there's a lot of activity, so please go there.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNN Live, and we're at the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium 2019 in Vancouver, BC. With me again has been Christian Milau from Equinox Gold, publicly traded company. I got 2 symbols for you, EQX on the TSX Venture and EQX.FF on the OTC. Christian, thank you for joining me again.
Thanks very much for having me, Robert.